leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.
Welcome to the March 20th, 2025, Thursday edition of the DarkDox Digest with your host, Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox
Digest.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I am your host, once more, Christian Coffins, and today is Thursday, and we do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at youtube.com/Sacred Owls. And what DarkDox Digest is, if you're new, is that I take 10 hours a day of Band.video. That's 3 hours of the American Journal, 4 hours of the Alex Jones Show, 3 hours of the War Room with OWEN SHROYER, and that's 10 hours total, and I compress it into 1 hour of power and then upload it after the live over to rumble.com/DarkDox and bitshoot.com/DarkDox. Sorry, BitChute followers. Yesterday's show is just too big by 0.01 gigabytes. You can't go over 2 gigs, so I need to keep these under like an hour and a half in order to upload over to BitChute. So that's what happened there. Not like we got banned or anything, because I was holding an AR-15! Let's turn on the display capture. Definitely go ahead and share this link, because it's going to be a good one. Today's episode is power, which has a million definitions. But I called today power because the power is in our hands. We've got the power. And we're starting to see some results and be noticed. And when I say we, I'm not just talking about DarkDox. I'm talking about Infowars. I'm talking about OWEN SHROYER. I'm talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Kash Patel. I'm talking about Pam Bondi, and much more. But also the potential power generation of those pyramids and how we've been lied to all this time. So it all kind of ties together. Power is the ability to do something or act in a particular way, especially as a faculty or quality, the capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others in the course of events. That is the power that you have. So please be sure to share this and create a post, get people to know what's up for Data Battle Z over here. He does all of our YouTube shorts and those fantastic intros, and we greatly appreciate it. And by throwing down on Facebook, I understand he got kicked off of that as well. So the info war continues, and we are continuing to be persecuted for being right about everything and just wanting everyone to be nice to each other. Wouldn't that be nice? But let's get started here. Our good buddy EMIKO Frost, aka Lupus Warrior, she has a GoFundMe link in description for her medical expenses. As many of you have known, she has been struggling with lupus, which is an autoimmune disease that affects her entire body. It is now affecting her mental health. She's a wonderful woman, and she's been through a lot, so definitely give her some support. A couple bucks. Buy her a chicken dinner. New details reveal the greatest archaeological discovery in history. We played the Reese Report video, which is still not on band.video, 2 days ago, so definitely check that out. But here's an update on that. Alex had a Egyptologist on
that
the
is
air.
basically describing this as a massive underground city. So you've got this, like you said, the cylindrical spiraling structures that are coming down
Hello, Mountain
from
Violet.
the pyramid into these containers. But alongside this, because the incredible thing about what they're doing is this is space-based. You know, they're using space-based platforms to do this. And I think that's one of the reasons why they may be able to circumvent some of the restrictions placed by the Egyptian government, because, you know, what are you going to do about satellites passing over your region, taking scans? At this point, I think that's just fair game until they create rules against it, which they're probably hurriedly trying to do in, in the light of these revelations. But yeah, they're speaking about a massive complex underneath the Giza Plateau, which actually does tie into, you know, historical writings and theological texts and the Hermetic wisdom texts of Hermes Trismegistus, the ancient sage of Egypt, that speaks about, you know, the halls of Amenti, the secret records that exist underneath the Giza Plateau, which are supposedly meant to be these halls of records of the antediluvian time, the pre-flood era. And I find that to be incredibly fascinating. And the thing is that we know that there have already been massive discrepancies around, for example, the dating of the Sphinx on the Giza Plateau, which is primarily due to the water erosion around the Sphinx. This was first brought to our attention in the 90s by John Anthony West and Dr. Robert Schoch. You know, their findings in relation to the water erosion imply the Sphinx, which, to be honest, is likely not a Sphinx at all and underwent changes through time, could actually go far as back as 10,500 BC, which would mean the Sphinx predates the rise of dynastic Egyptian civilizations. Those are the ones that we're taught about in school by thousands of years. And there are many parts of Egypt that hint towards a different civilization, a different architectural style, a more advanced engineering skill set. And I'd actually say one of the most striking and obvious features of these more advanced and more ancient structures for the untrained eye, especially in relation to Egypt, is their complete and total lack of hieroglyphs. The pyramids being a prime example of this. I mean, I've been inside the tombs of the Valley of the Kings, and they're adorned in gold and artwork and colors and hieroglyphs. The pyramids, on the other hand, nothing. No symbols, no decorations, no references to be found in the Egyptian texts as to the construction of these pyramids. And that's because I don't think the Egyptians that we're taught about had anything to do with the construction of the Giza Plateau.
Yeah, so it's very interesting stuff. This is an hour-long link in description over there at band.video. And much respect to Greg Reese, who, you know, broke this first as far as I could see. He was the first one talking about it. However, on his band.video account, he hasn't posted for 3 months. So, whereas, as you can see at reesereport.com, if you go to his BitChute or his Rumble, which he, you know, like me, consistently keeps posted, you know, here it is from 2 days ago. SAR scan of Khafre pyramid shows huge underground structures. Definitely check that out if you haven't, or yesterday's episode. If you're on Facebook, I am Christian X Coffins for now until they kick me off. Why do we even bother? Because it brings traffic here, so it's worth doing. This is an info war. X.com/sacred owls unites. Rumble.com/DarkDox. BitChute.com/DarkDox. SWATers now sending pizza deliveries to victims' homes with the name of murdered Infowars reporter Jamie White on it as the deep state Democrats take their terror campaign against the American people to the next level. I'm sure if you are a regular, you know, we've been following this. Jamie White was murdered in front of his house, and now they're sending pizza deliveries in the name of Jamie White. And what's even more shocking is that Owen pointed out, here, I'll play a little clip of this.
The January 6th committee, working with the FBI and the federal government, was able to ID, track, trace, and geolocate thousands of Americans. Thousands. And they were able to do arrests and everything else.
No, that day and the next day, they were able to block anybody that had flown into D.C., and they were Republican in an AI database. So, yeah, absolutely.
So they can absolutely find out who's doing this. They have the manpower, they have the technology. Do they have the will is the question. That's why we have to raise the noise on this issue. This is a domestic terrorist campaign. What is it going to take? I don't want it to have to be somebody dead. I don't want it to have to be a shootout. I I don't want a police officer.
Well, that's what they want, is some conservative who's half asleep, maybe was drinking. There's 10 guys around your house. They bust in the door. The Infowars crew members, family, you name it, had the police broke in last night because they didn't wake up.
Yeah.
I mean, I sleep when I'm asleep like a dead man myself.
Well, if you're not there, if there's no response, their protocol is to bash the door open. So, I mean, I was there, I was awake, so I was just able to open the door.
Yeah, but as it turns out, so Jamie White was murdered on the 2300 block of Douglas Street in Austin, Texas, which if you look on Google Maps is right here. And the Papa John's that went to Owen Schroyer's house in his name is literally right across the street right here. Let's see if we can get... So here you go. This is there's the Papa John's right there that the pizzas came from. That went to Owen Schroyer's with the Jamie White's name on it. And this is the 2300 block of Douglas Avenue. So somewhere around here is where Jamie was murdered. It's tragic, and these people are sick. So the investigation continues. FBI has informed a national database to track and prevent swatting. Definitely check out yesterday's episode called Swatting.
In 2018, science fiction author Patrick Tomlinson posted a casual tweet.
I simply said that I'd never personally found the comedian Norm Macdonald funny.
It caught the attention of online harassers who began swatting Patrick and his wife Nikki at their Milwaukee home. Swatting is when false calls trick 911 dispatchers into sending an all-out armed response. The experience can be terrifying.
I make my way downstairs to find that there are half a dozen police with pistols drawn, shotguns, AR-15s, flashlights all pointed at my head. I am pulled out of the house, and then on my own front porch, I'm handcuffed.
And not just once.
Our house has been swatted 42 times now.
42 times police have actually come in some form to your door?
Yes.
No central agency tracks swatting, but one estimate put the number at more than 1,000 incidents in 2019 alone. Over just 6 days this April, at least 9 universities were victims. And police estimate each incident costs communities more than $10,000. Patrick and Nikki are still constantly harassed.
They've been texting us during this interview.
And their harassers use voice synthesizers and other technology to mask their identity.
Maybe you should get a real job. Then again, you'll be able to learn a trade in prison.
At the same time, they can't get the police to stop coming.
The Milwaukee Police Department tells NBC News they have been to Patrick and Nikki's house at least 40 times, but they didn't share any ideas for how they're going to solve this problem.
In a statement, they told us MPD has a duty to respond to calls for service in order to ensure that no one is in danger.
How dangerous is swatting?
It's extremely dangerous.
Now, the FBI is getting involved, creating a swatting command center so police departments can exchange information.
We know the problem exists throughout the country. I think the FBI recognizes that we have resources available to help track what's going on, to be able to easily share information with one another, to report incidents.
Meanwhile, Patrick and Nikki are in their 5th year of daily harassment.
What has it done to the two of you to be in this position?
It's taken away our sanctuary. We don't feel safe in our own home.
Every department in this country should have policies, procedures, and training around it. People have died from it. There is no excuse.
A waste of public resources and a nightmare for its victims. Jake Ward, NBC News, Milwaukee.
So I'm just happy that the mainstream media is actually paying attention to this and not ignoring it like they do with everything else, or trying to victim blame like that Daily Mail article blaming Jamie White for not moving out of a dangerous area. It's like, yeah, that's the excuse. That's the answer. But yeah, Newsweek, Infowars host Owen Schroyer swatted after police report of shooting. And then we got CNN even. I just fell to the ground. Some of Trump and Musk's most public supporters targeted in a wave of swatting incidents. So this has hit the mainstream. and that's a good thing. I think it's going to wake a lot of normies up. That we are the victims here. Even though we don't have victim mentality like the leftists do, we are being targeted. We are targeted individuals. Somali refugee on trial in Germany for breaking into house and sexually abusing 9-year-old twins during wedding celebration. I don't mean to laugh, it's just holy shit. Somali refugee first exposed himself to 9-year-old boy before heading to his sister's room and stripping her down to her underwear. Ugh. 28-year-old refugee from Somalia is facing charges after breaking into the home in Germany during a family wedding celebration and sexually abusing a 9-year-old twin children. Jesus. I mean, when as a civilization are we just simply going to take a stand for the children and rip the fucking heads off of these people in public, in the public square? Let's bring back guillotines. Let's bring back hangings. I want to watch them die. I want to see it. Rogue Soros-funded NGO plots multi-city assault on Teslas as domestic terrorism escalates, while the FBI investigates far-left terrorist attacks against Tesla's service centers, showrooms, supercharging networks, and vehicles. The radical Soros-funded nonprofit Indivisible is preparing to launch a multi-city offensive against the American company in the coming days. This was posted today. An ongoing thing. We covered Indivisible on yesterday's episode as well. The anti-DEI crusader Robbie Starbuck explains more about the rogue nonprofit. Let's take a look. Oh, wait. No? Thought I had that tabbed out. So here we go. Over the next few days, we're going to see an organized progressional protest effort at Tesla stores put together by the group called Indivisible. George Soros Foundation has given Indivisible nearly $8 million for their activism. I mean, RICO. This is a criminal conspiracy. We need RICO charges. We need the FBI to come in and arrest Soros and arrest all of these people involved. They're calling these Tesla takedown events, and they're doing it in the midst of a domestic terror spree targeting Tesla and Tesla owners. They have these planned across the entire country. Here are the posters. In Franklin, Tennessee. Our photoshops are better every episode here at DarkDox Digest. But I don't get millions of dollars. I should. It would be nice. I would put it to great use. I gotta tell you. So if you like what we do, cash.app/DarkDox or check out the DarkDox shop at darkdox.me/shop. Greatly appreciate it. Laura Loomer. Tonight, radical Democrat Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett spoke on a call to action call organized by Tesla takedown organizers. That's why she was there. Let's take a look.
I'll make sure that I keep it short, but I am truly here for very selfish reasons. Starting with on March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down. Yes, I'll make sure that I keep it short, but I am truly here for very selfish reasons.
It is time to arrest Jasmine Crockett. You see how easy this is? This is part of a global terrorism campaign, targeting the U.S., but I mean, this is happening worldwide. Leftist activist groups, Indivisible Tennessee, promoting Tennessee takedown. So this is all over the place. That's where it was. Governor, I heard a siren outside for a second there. Governor Ron DeSantis offers a solution to dealing with the activist judges who are trying to block Trump's agenda. Congress has the authority to strip jurisdiction from the federal courts to decide these cases in the first place. The sabotaging of President Trump's agenda by resistance judges was predictable. Why no jurisdiction? Stripping bills tees up at the onset of this Congress. There is a gnat that is trying to get in my eye and it's driving me crazy. Lots of noise about impeachment. We must study every ruling and act accordingly with everything on the table. Noting 14 Democrats vote requiring in the Senate, but more fertile grounds. 1. House can pass a resolution stating that there is or was an invasion. Yes, needs to be done. And 2, we can defund radical courts. There's an idea. Israel extremist rabbis instruct soldiers heading to Gaza kill all of their children. The basic law in a religious war is that there is the case in Gaza. Do not spare any soul, instructed Rabbi Eliyahu Mali. Ugh. Disgusting. Demon. Now, New York State's highest court blocks New York City law to allow 800,000 illegals to vote. This isn't from 2 years ago. This is from today. What's with this ad? Don't do that. Zero Hedge. New York court has decisively rejected a controversial New York City law allowing migrants in the city to legally vote. Okay, good. So they're blocking it. Fantastic. I misread that. Probably read it right, but I comprehended it wrong. Anti-Trump FBI agents arrested for disclosing classified information. Feds nabbed him as he was about to board an international flight. Let's see what he has to say.
I didn't want to be a whistleblower. I wanted nothing to do with it. I was at my wit's end. I saw important intelligence reporting being suppressed. I started to experience what I believe to be discrimination, character assassination, really. My name is Jonathan Bouma, and I'm a FBI special agent. When I went and presented to the assistant director in charge over at Los Angeles field office, he was very interested in the allegations concerning potentially implicating the Bidens and involved in business deals with Burisma, a company that was involved in alleged criminal activity. He's very interested, and he was adamant about packaging that information up and transferring that to the appropriate case agent right away. But during the same meeting, when I attempted to provide information that Rudy Giuliani may have been compromised by individuals suspected of being involved in Russian counterintelligence influence operations, he shut me down and the meeting ended. I came to know that Giuliani had received $300,000 from Pavlo Fuchs, a very powerful businessman who had deep ties with a transnational organized crime syndicate. He was based in Ukraine, and that was deeply concerning to me, especially having heard that Giuliani had been working for the president pro bono. My questions that were going through my head were, who does he really work for? I wasn't trying to, implicate Trump or do anything that would, injure his reputation. This reporting implicates Giuliani. He was the one that was in ongoing contact with foreign nationals and, political activists who would receive hundreds of thousands of dollars from these sources. And at that time, Joe Biden was not yet the Democratic nominee. I said to my co-handling agent, I said to him, why do they keep going back to the Bidens? So what if this is the leading edge of a disinformation campaign to create a theme of derogatory information about the Bidens in anticipation that Biden would be Trump's main political rival? And I started to experience pushback. All of my reporting came under really tight scrutiny, to the point where I went from getting exceptional performance awards to being told that I was an inconsistent performer and that I had all these administrative, and I don't have a history of that, 13 years before that. So it got to the point where it's pretty intolerable. So I filed a whistleblower complaint. All FBI agents get annual training concerning the protected federal whistleblower statute, which says that if you see misconduct in management, then you can file a whistleblower complaint with the inspection division. The managers involved in your chain of command are prohibited from committing any acts that could be considered reprisal or retaliation. From that point forward, the retaliation actually increased, and I experienced no such protection, and there's never any mention or acknowledgement outside of an automated email response saying we received your information and a letter that said we received your information, but nothing, no interviews, no anything. And an email was sent with a brand new supervisors that specifically prohibited me from doing any more reporting on criminal matters, public corruption matters, or reporting on anyone related to the White House or any current or former associates of Trump. But now I started to experience personal attacks, not only suppression of the reporting. My reporting was corroborated already at that point. So if you can't undercut the reporting, you undercut the person. So that's what I was experiencing at that point. And I was moved to a squad where I couldn't work sources. I was sent to basically the Alaska of LA and it put into a position where it would be physically impossible for me to do any more source reporting. I was never trying to drive the political process in one way or the other. I was only trying to make sure that everybody had all of the information, both sides, so that people could make intelligent decisions about what they want to do, policymakers or voters or whatever.
This year, Obama approached Republican Congress Jim Jordan, who was leading the weaponization subcommittee.
What Chairman Jordan's
claims the
investigation
FBI...
is alleging is that What Chairman Jordan's investigation is alleging is that the FBI as a whole is an arm of the anti-Trump agenda. And this is simply not true. There is this allegation out there that the FBI slow-played the intake of information and their diligent effort to investigate Burisma and the Bidens. What I saw going on with some of these hearings was they weren't getting the full story. And I wrote up a statement, went to his office, and I told him, well, quite honestly, guys, here's what happened. I think the management cared a lot about it, and they wanted a special briefing about it. What needs to be said here is, I later started reporting on Giuliani, and I really started to experience some suppression. And at that point, they shut me down, and they said, no, we're only interested in things related specifically to Biden. I don't think it's a legitimate investigation.
Spokesperson for Jim Jordan denied Buma's allegations that the committee was cherry-picking witnesses.
The reason why I came forward is, number one, I don't want any other FBI agent to ever have to go through.
They said they would never tell a whistleblower they weren't
reason why I
interested
came forward
in the story.
Is, number one, I don't want any other FBI agent to ever have to go through what I've gone through. And having their right of protection under the statute completely, blatantly violated. Number two, I want to restore the integrity of the FBI so that people have trust and faith in it. Because if it's gone, public corruption will become rampant, and we will things will go to hell in a handbasket in this country real fast, faster than people think. If the very agency that's charged with holding our public officials and the most powerful people in the world accountable can't hold its own self accountable and becomes corrupt itself, then this country, things can get bad real fast. You know, it could be the beginnings of a fascist state. If they want to figuratively slaughter me by firing me, they can do that. But I have no intention of leaving. I'm going to show up for work. I'm going to continue to show up for work in hope of getting a good paycheck like any other American really wants.
Giuliani and Trump did not respond to a request for comment. Spokesperson Fuchs said that Fuchs had hired... no one reads that fast. Had hired Giuliani's security firm as a consultant, but never paid Giuliani $300,000. The FBI declined to comment on Buma's allegations. This is from the the Insider. About that guy, though. I don't find him trustworthy. Just off the... I mean, I don't know anything, but we'll see. Right, yeah, so there was a caller into the Alex Jones show yesterday, and he was just going off on Alex. Why didn't you talk about how Trump has a golden statue of himself in Gaza? And here's the video. It is weird. Yeah.
I had a guy call in yesterday. I remember he's called in for years from Vegas. He was right. He's called in for like, I recognize his voice, for like 15 years. He goes, I don't think, I'm really pissed at Trump, and I'm pissed at you because you didn't show this AI video of him as some golden god or Nebuchadnezzar or something. And I'm going, huh? What? And he goes, yeah, you're cutting edge. You know what it is. And I'm like, and then the crew flashes up on screen a Daily Beast article, and I'm already remembering. Oh, you mean about male belly dancers? And I remember the article. So busy, I didn't send it to I sent it to the crew, I think, like 2 weeks ago. But I had like women boxing yesterday. It was really cool, and also I had a cool comment. That would have been viral. But I have this thing where if something's pop or entertainment anyway, I tend to not do it. No, I'd not seen that. And I think it is weird and creepy. And I don't know why Trump put it out. And it is weird. Is he trolling people? I don't know. But you've got to look at the overall fruits of the tree. But to the idea that then by extension, I knew about this and I was covering it up. Dude, I take random phone calls so you can call in and tell me about things. Owen, there's all sorts of stuff I don't know about. All the time. I mean, I'm nice to the crew, but what do I bitch about? Something's an hour old. Why didn't I know that? And then I've got all...
Yeah, so you can watch the whole thing. Link in description. That was just a little AI clip that he posted on Donald Trump posted on True Social that made that guy so upset. It's fucking weird. Like, I don't know. So don't say like oh, we're just cucking for Trump and whatever. Like, we call it out that was weird. Like, what's up with that, bro? He was probably like, oh, that's crazy. Oh, he probably I don't know. It's weird. AI, no good. Don't use it. U.S. could take over Ukraine's nuclear plants to protect them, Trump told Zelensky. I think we should just take over Ukraine, personally. What do you think? Leave a comment in the description. We got Caroline Levitt talking about this
effort and reiterated his willingness to adopt a full ceasefire. President Trump also discussed Ukraine's electrical supply and nuclear power plants. He said that the United States could be very helpful in running those plants with its electricity and utility expertise. American ownership of those plants would be the best protection for that infrastructure and support for Ukrainian energy infrastructure. President Zelensky also thanked President Trump for continuing to push humanity in this effort and reiterated his willingness to adopt a full ceasefire. President Trump also discussed Ukraine's electrical supply and nuclear power plants. He said that the United States could be very helpful in running those plants with its electricity and utility expertise. American ownership of those plants would be the best protection for that infrastructure and support for Ukrainian energy infrastructure. President Zelensky also thanked President Trump for continuing to push humanity in this effort and reiterated his willingness to adopt a full ceasefire. President Trump also discussed Ukraine's electrical supply and nuclear power plants. He said that the United States could be very helpful in running those plants with...
One of the things I don't like about X, especially with these short clips, is that they just loop them over and over again, kind of like, YouTube Shorts or whatever. So it's like, I'll be listening to it and be like, she already said that. Ukraine bombs Russian airfield 435 miles from front lines where Russian houses nuclear bombers in the largest drone attack ever. Got some crazy videos. The mushroom cloud over there.
это нихуя.
Wow.
Там что-то ёбнуло пиздец. Вот это нихуя.
I mean, all that money wasted that could be used to make schools and
Там
feed the
пизда, Наташ.
hungry.
Лёдку разъебали. Блять, выйди, посмотри, блять.
Help find cures for horrible diseases. Cleaning drinking water around the world. But no, we're just going to blow shit up. Like, can we outlaw war already? I know I sound like a hippie, but seriously, guys. It's just... It's waste. This is waste, fraud, and abuse. All sides. Everyone's guilty. No, we just like making big weapons that go boom. Germany, Berlin takes out emergency loan for alien care as costs spiral. The city of Berlin has been a major magnet for migrants. Nice alliteration. But instead of the economic boom promised, they are costing the state billions of euros. Now the city is throwing more debt at the problem, which will facilitate the massive debt package passed by the Christian Democrats, Christian Socialists, Social Democrats, and the Greens. Retarded. Ontario police busted for using controversial Israeli spyware on Canadians. Pressed for Truth. Out of Canada.
This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth. Ontario police may have secretly used controversial Israeli spyware. According to a new report that has just been released from Citizen Lab, here is the report, Virtue or Vice? A first look at Paragon's proliferating spyware operations. And if you look at their key findings, you'll find that they identified a possible Canadian customer, and it's none other than the Canadian Ontario Provincial Police. They also found evidence of a growing ecosystem of spyware capability among Ontario-based police services. Now, none of this should be a huge shock to Press for Truth viewers because I've been reporting on this for quite some time. The fact that Canada's National Police Force have already admitted to using spyware to hack into phones. Critics have been condemning the OPP's secretive use of controversial surveillance technologies for years now, and the RCMP already came out saying it's not using the controversial Pegasus spyware to covertly access cell phones. But some of the things that we have discovered that they are doing, guys, are stuff like this. The RCMP plans to go undercover online to trap violent extremists. And we also saw how police in Canada are tracking people's negative behaviors in a risk database. Gee, I wonder what could go wrong there, right? So this algorithmic policing in Canada needs more legal safeguards, according to this other Citizen Lab report. So we're going to look at all of this and much, much more in today's video, guys. But really quickly, before we do, I'd ask that you check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate if you appreciate my efforts to bring you this info. Here you can do a one-time donation with PayPal. You can contribute Bitcoin.
Yeah, he does good work, so check him out on Band.video. Link in description. Tim Walls, my masculinity intimidates MAGA voters. This is an actual real-life newspaper headline that ran today on planet Earth. Tyler Durden, very good. Tim Walls, MAGA voters are scared of my masculinity. I gotta see it. And to clarify, the headline ran on our planet Earth, not the alternative dimension. This is from the Telegraph. Ugh. Sign up. Ugh. He was on American Psycho's broadcast.
But I think this notion of toxicity and masculinity needs to be separated. And I think it's been conflated. And I think we're going to have to work on that a little bit. And I think there is a crisis.
I think some of us scare them. I think I scare them a little bit.
It's really creepy when he does that little jig dance. I look
Played it, and I think we're going to have to work on that a little bit. And I think there is a crisis.
I think some of us scare him. I think I scare him a little bit.
He did that same dance when he was talking about, and we're going to work with the investors to sell your property and make low-income housing for illegal aliens.
Some of us scare him. I think I scare him a little bit why they spend so much time on this. No, I'm serious, because I can fix a truck. They know I'm not bullshitting on this. Yeah. I'm not putting this in people's grill. I don't know if my identity is not hunting. My identity is not football coaching. My identity is not, a beard and a truck.
But I think this notion of, I think it's...
Ugh. They're not human. They're acting, they're trying to act human. It's kind of like when Chuck Schumer tries to be like, oh, take a picture of me grilling and all of the burgers are raw with cheese on them. Like, have you ever grilled anything ever? These people. Kevin O'Leary slams Governor Tim Walz for trashing Tesla while his state pension holds millions of shares. Did I have that tab? Is it over here?
I think go back to point one. When you set a car on fire, you should go to jail. You're a criminal.
Any car,
I don't think we have to talk about it in any other context. And all those cars have cameras in them, and those dealerships have cameras. You're beyond being stupid when you do that. You're going to go to jail, and you now have a government that just got their mandate. They can't wait to find idiots that do this. You're going to spend 5 to 20 years in prison. If they get them on terrorism, which I think is a stretch, they will have no parole, no shortened sentence. They'll rot in hell in prison for 20 years. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, that's okay. Breaking in, shooting a car, setting on fire, nothing to do with the politics, nothing to do with Tesla. You are a criminal, and you should go to jail.
Broader question about the protest factor. I mean, you heard Tim Walz.
What protest? You're a criminal.
I'm talking about Tim Walz and his comments about the Tesla stock. He says it gives him a boost to see that stock going down.
That poor guy didn't check his portfolio and his own pension plan for state. It's beyond stupid what he did. He's talking down a 3.5% weighting in his own pension plan. I mean, what's the matter with that guy? He doesn't check the well-being of his own constituents in his state. That's their investment fund. Point, what a bozo.
The minute.
What a bozo indeed.
I think go back to point one.
If you like what we do, definitely check us out at thealexjonesstore.com/darkdox. I'm an affiliate, and if you order something, I get 10% of the profits, and I can help continue our fight in this. Right now, they just got in a Spartan limited edition trench knife with skull crusher and brass knuckles, and it says tip of the spear with a Roman with a spear on one side and Infowars on the other. Or you can get the Tip of the Spear t-shirt bundle, and they're actually running a good deal. If you're a VIP member, it is only $129.49 for both. So there's some good savings there. I highly suggest if you are going to get anything, get the Alex Jones VIP program, because it's $30 a month, but then they give you $40 in store credit. So they're pretty much just giving you $10 free a month to spend in the store for your $30 that you're helping support the Infowar. And you get exclusive, you get discounts, exclusive deals. You get also, sorry, the page derped out there. Yeah, so right now they're giving away a 2024 Jeep Rubicon 392 4x4 plus $10,000 cash, and every dollar you spend has 10x entries into the raffle. So pick up some MK Ultra, some magnesium and vitamin K. I'm not just bullshitting you. I use this stuff. This is my medicine cabinet. I'm taking the Sheila G, Atomic Defense when I'm feeling a little under the weather. Has all sorts of great ingredients. You got the Sambucas or the elderberry gummies, which are such a treat. They're so delicious. You got probiotics. You got Ultimate Gut Cleanse, which I lost some like random weight using that stuff. So it's fantastic. And the Ultimate Sea Moss with bladder wrack and burdock root, a great source of iodine and many other benefits. Also check out darkdox.me/shop. We got projectors, MP4 players, loaded with over 100 documentaries, podcasts, audiobooks, declassified federal documents, and more. We got t-shirts, we got films, we got comic books about the Bohemian Grove and the Franklin cover-up. So check out darkdox.me/shop. Brother and roommate of Laken Riley's killer ordered to be deported. Good. And crucial JFK files not released. The deep state has double-crossed Trump again.
All right, for those that don't follow it or as closely as I do, or people like President Trump is very interested in the JFK assassination in the deep state. Obviously, they tried to kill him as well. He, in the last year of his administration, ordered all the files released. Then he came back a few months later, they hadn't done it, and Pompeo, the head of the CIA, and Trump's talked about this, said, sir, you can't. It implicates the agency. It's too dangerous. Trump then told Roger, yeah, it's too horrible. It'll be released soon, but not right now. Then Trump said everything, release everything. A few weeks into his administration, he signed that order. Now today, 58, 59. They came back to him a week ago, and he talked about it publicly, and they said, sir, there's too much to redact. We just can't release it. He said, release it unredacted. And then on Monday, he said it'll be released tomorrow by 3 p.m. Well, they released it, and all the JFK experts, all the people that already had pieces of it, the main societies, the main groups, the most respected, and Roger Stone is the best-selling author on the subject, say that about a third of what was left was not released, and what was released was cherry-picked stuff from their phony investigations to make it look like the official story is true, as if they haven't already lost that battle. In every poll, over 90% of Americans say the CIA killed him. I just want to read to you what Roger sent me this morning, because he's got so much going on. He can't come on right now. He may be able to later. I'm going to read to you what Roger Stone said to me this morning in response to what time are you on? Alex, you should find your interviews with Madeleine Brown's LBJ mistress and put them on air. Interestingly, the interview she did with Geraldo Rivera seems to have disappeared as well, but you covered much of the same ground. She was admittedly his mistress. He said, I'm going to kill him next week, and then I killed that sumbitch. It's interesting to know that virtually all of the material they released is designed to reinforce the false narrative that Oswald shot Kennedy and acted alone, neither of which is true. I'm sorry I cannot join you today, but if I'm able to, I will. Certainly tomorrow, I would be happy to come on. Be safe. RJS.
Yeah, so, this is, again, Insubordination, which was an episode this week, and they need to be held accountable. I mean, they're not saying they need to be fired, and if they're obstructing justice, there needs to be charges. Greenpeace ordered to pay over $660 million for defaming oil companies. North Dakota jury has ruled that Greenpeace must pay more than $660 million in damages to Dallas-based oil and gas company Energy Transfer, finding the environmental group liable for defamation and their other claims related to the protests against the Dakota Access Pipeline. Steve Bannon, President Trump will run again and win in 2028, and we're working on it. I love Trump, but he needs to retire after this, and we need to have new leadership that is the same spirit. I mean, we got JD, we got Tulsi, we got RFK. He opened the door and, has a foot in the door, and now we're in. And it's like we need to have a younger group that is still working towards these same goals, and I know we have it. But here's a clip from when he was on News Nation.
So the only thing that you're not going to like talking about, we'll talk about first. I'm watching CPAC, and they put up a poll of potential, next generation, right? Post-Trump. You are second on the list after the VP as people getting the nod at CPAC to be president. A lot of people were surprised by this. My first question, you have anything to do with putting your name in that list? Because you have presidential ambitions?
No. And President Trump, I'm a firm believer that President Trump will run and win again in 2028. So I've already endorsed President Trump. A man like this comes along once every century if we're lucky. We've got him now. He's on fire, and I'm a huge supporter. Want to see him again in 2028.
I mean, he's pushing 80 years old, man. Like, love him to death. I'm glad he got in. He's saving our country. If it can be saved, he's doing his best. I honestly do believe that. But, yeah. The same thing for Steve Bannon. I like him, but too old. I think Tulsi. How about Tulsi and JD's still too new. I like him. But Tulsi and who do you think should be vice president? Let me know in the comments. Third term president. Yep, got it. They have a third term president project. Trump signs order eliminating the Department of Education. I saw that before I left work today. Here's a clip right before he did it.
Order to begin eliminating the Federal Department of Education once and for all. And it sounds strange, doesn't it? Department of Education, we're going to eliminate it. And everybody knows it's right. And the Democrats know it's right. And I hope they're going to be voting for it because ultimately it may come before them. But everybody knows it's right. And we have to get our children educated. We're not doing well with the world of education in this country. And we haven't for a long time. And we're pleased to be joined today by the woman who I chose because she's an extraordinary person, and hopefully she will be our last Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon. Linda.
Bring it back to the States. Fantastic. Maybe there'll be less corruption and DEI and transgender pornographic comic books for children. Judge orders Bureau of Prisons to return transgender inmates to women's facilities, reversing Trump's protective order. Pedo. Gross. Chuck Schumer says he wakes up at 3 a.m. thinking about Elon Musk. Gay.
So a lot of people responded to the anguish. I appreciate it. I wake up 3 in the morning sometimes, so worried about the future of the country under these oligarchs or or whatever, or, you know.
He didn't exactly say it. That was kind of disingenuous. Sneaky getaway Hispanic. Ben and Jerry's parent company ousts its far left CEO and demands dismantling of the brand's progressive values. The times are changing. Don Lemon opens up on Bill Maher about his experience of being harassed by women while at CNN. Yeah, okay. He shared that he chose not to report it to HR because he feared he wouldn't be believed. Now, it's a serious thing. Like, men get raped too. Men get sexually harassed as well. But really, Don Lemon?
I'm very interested.
There are some things that are...
No, I'm interested in this.
There are some things that are really egregious. Right, and not everything is Harvey Weinstein level. And
that's rape.
And then some of the that's a whole different story. I'm not talking about that, and I'm not saying it makes it right. But I remember when I was in Atlanta and was in the cafeteria, commissary, whatever.
At CNN.
At CNN, and this woman, young lady, tweaked my nipples and said, "Oh, it's cold in here." And I said, okay, you realize if I did that, they'd be walking me out the door right now. But I didn't care. I didn't go to HR. I didn't say anything because I was just like, it's a double standard.
Good for you.
Yeah, and also, but I've never told this story as well, someone who I worked with also harassed me at CNN, and I never went to management. First of all, I was so new there.
A man or a woman?
A woman. And she knew I was gay. And it was just bizarre. She was going through a divorce. It was just weird. And I never went to management. First of all, I thought, like, okay, they may find a way to get rid of me because if I tell this story, I don't know if they're going to believe me or not. But then she was so mean to me after that. I was like, I should have told the story. But yeah, I've been harassed by men and women.
But what constituted this harassment? Like, what did physically, like in the office, like come in and twirl for me, Don?
It wasn't a twirl for me, but it was not. It was not in the office. But yeah. It's all, I won't go that far. very
this guy
interested.
is
There are
just
some things that I don't
grasping
know.
at
I'm
trying to be
interested.
relevant, and I almost feel bad for even playing it. I think his antics are funny. Yeah, so the Michelle Obama podcast is not doing that well. It's doing better than ours, but you know, I also wasn't the first man of the White House for what 8 years. But I mean, it should be doing much better, but it is not, and I think it's because she has hair like the Mickey Mouse, I suppose. But yeah, had Seth and Lauren Rogan on. Who cares about these people? Pro-life march in Manhattan sees huge demonstration of Antifa. This is old. I don't know how that got there. Indiana raids Soros-backed offices linked to the Open Society Foundation in Karnataka. Indian government raided George Soros-backed offices in Bengaluru on Tuesday. The Enforcement Directorate raided 8 Soros-backed offices linked to the Open Society Foundation, an organization backed by U.S. billionaire George Soros, along with some linked entities in Bengaluru. The action stems from allegations of violations under the Foreign Exchange Management Act, also FEMA, highlighting the government's commitment to curbing foreign interference in domestic affairs. We need to do some of that here. Mitch McConnell sparks more alarm about his health after failing to hear a question during a press conference. See what this turtle's up to.
Here in Kentucky or talk to him about it being a bad policy at all?
My hearing is not what it used to be.
Tariffs, Senator. Your comment is about tariffs. Tariffs. Comment about tariffs.
Oh, yeah.
Too old. We need term limits. NPR reporter Danielle Kurtzleben, who said her brand is more or less penis politics, deletes X account after naming Laura Loomer for bopping Trump in the face with boom mic. Yeah, you know, they need to be really careful. They made a good point. You could just have like a tiny little bit of fentanyl at the end of that boom mic and it could kill the president. So no one should be able to boom him with, you know, hit him with a boom mic in his face, especially his nose. So yeah, Laura Loomer has identified the reporter who hit President real Donald Trump in the face with a boom mic this week while he was speaking at the press tarmac. Her name is Danielle Kurtzleben at Tatanka. She is a newly appointed White House reporter for NPR and a massive Trump hater and LGBTQI PPK+ advocate who once suggested during the 2024 campaign that Trump only spoke in Howell, Michigan because it had ties to the KKK. Okay. Yes. This is from the American Journal this morning. I'll just play a little bit of this, but pretty alarming stuff. How private equity is crippling America and setting up the next economic collapse.
It's the perfect storm of increasing capture of our government, really, at every facet. And it's really concerning. We are already watching the strip mining, the wealth is leaving. And when you give your money to a private equity-backed institution, it is leaving your community and it is never coming back. So the bankers are winning, the private equity is winning, the employees are losing, the communities are losing, and the pensioners are going to lose. And that's how this is working. And it's going faster and faster and faster. It is the fastest growing market segment in the United States. And they're doing it in every single direction. They're doing it with our emergency rooms. They're doing it like emergency rooms are not owned by the hospitals. They're run separately by private equity firms. They're doing it in our children's pediatricians. They're doing it in the veterinary clinics. They're doing it in the nursing homes. They're doing it in the funeral homes. This is happening in every industry in America, and nobody is talking about it because they intentionally make it impossible to understand. You can't systematically extract more and more and more.
Yeah, so that's a whole 50 minutes over there. You can follow her on X, the Vino Mom, Tiffany Cianci. And also, of course, Harrison Smith on X is Harrison H. Smith. And I'll leave you with this little bit from his finding in the JFK files.
It purports to be from the Federal Bureau of Investigation to Senator Edward Kennedy, classification top secret, written on July 7th, 1989. During the tenure of Richard Helms as director of the Central Intelligence Agency, decisions were made by the director with implied approval of the Oval Office to draft a blueprint and put into motion a plan by which the CIA could have as much funds as and when needed without the knowledge of Congress. The 5 experts picked were Edward Lansdale, who ran the CIA activities in Vietnam, William Colby, who was put in total command of the blueprint operation when enacted, George Bush, who asked to receive approval to have his top aide Richard Armitage to be brought aboard, and Lieutenant Colonel Robert Ferreira, a top CIA asset. The master plan called for the CIA to enter into the drug smuggling business in total and complete fashion. General Lansdale would handle all the distribution network and collection services within the military in Vietnam. See, this is why all the veterans came back addicted to heroin, because they were sold it by the CIA. The operation was given the name Eagle 2. Here's where it gets crazy, folks. Before the operation was really off the ground, Colby started his phase of elimination of dissidents, and he did so under the codename of the Phoenix Program. Colby became insane with his power, and before he was finished with Phoenix, over 20,000 suspects were executed, and over 2,500 U.S. citizens were accused by Colby of being collaborators, and they vanished. That was too close to all being made public, so Helms, who in the meantime had formed a totally strong relationship with Baron Philip du Daphne, who represented the real capital of the world, the Rothschild Empire, decided to stop Operation Eagle 2 and start another clandestine money-making operation and leave Japan. Baron du Daphne, by the way of information, later took complete control of the international organization, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, headquartered in Paris, France. So this is how the deep state works. This is how it was formed. This is what we mean when we talk about the intelligence community being international, it being co-opted and actually controlled by people that aren't technically in office of CIA. They're shadow controllers. If you're a guy and your wife manages all of the money, how are you going to cheat on her? How are you going to go have a nice steak dinner with your mistress if your wife's going to start asking questions about the $200 bill on the next credit card statement? What you need to do is go do a little something on the side to get some cash of your own so you can pay for your nefarious activities outside of the oversight of the money manager. There's this document I call the Eagle 2 document.
And it goes to show, today's episode's called Power, and power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So be sure to be wise with the power that you wield, and be careful. Beware. Take care. What do we got? Nope. Yep. Yeah, that about does it. Fantastic. Once more, we go back to the outer space, and then we come back down to SeaWorld. And I hope all of you have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Christian Coffins signing off. Beware. Take care. Bye-bye.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. If you value this program, donate what you can at cash.app/DarkDox. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.